Hills Brothers Coffee is making the best tasting 100% Arabica coffee in the best way for the earth. Certified 100% compostable single-serve coffee pods. Brew and renew with Hills Brothers Coffee.
Hello and welcome to another Hills Brothers Coffee Break. I'm Aaron Sims and we're joined now by Adam Payerl, Admirals forward. And when you're away from hockey, which between September and June doesn't happen too much, but what do you fill the time with?
Well, I mean, the summertime, throughout the week, a lot of times, I mean, all the guys, you're kind of doing a lot more off-ice workouts throughout the summer. So usually in the mornings I work out, like, usually done by about 12 o'clock. And then I know a lot of my friends back home, they're not playing hockey, so they don't have the same schedule I have in the summertime.
Yeah. So
during the days they're working and stuff. So
what's home? What do you call home?
Kitchener, Ontario.
Okay.
Yeah. So a lot of times I'm just waiting for them to finish work and then go. I don't know. I got a couple buddies that were home this summer. We actually played a lot of like street basketball and shot around a little bit.
It's this year's team has been. It's been in flux a lot. There have been a lot of moving pieces, but it's been fun like the whole time. Why is it that way?
I don't know. I think we got a good core group of guys that our personalities get along pretty well. We have a lot of different cultures in the room, but the personalities mesh pretty well. And when things get a little tense, we got guys that'll keep it light. When they're a little too loose, we got guys that'll tighten guys up a little bit. We got a good mix. So we lose a couple guys here and there, up and down, and it's just the way of life here. So you just kind of keep moving forward and try to keep a good attitude every day. You
had you were playing on a line with Vladislav Kamenev, Harry Zolnarchuk, and you were on the right wing, and everybody was calling it Trump, Putin, Trudeau.
Yeah.
Who started that?
Z started that, I would say.
So he's the self-appointed Trump.
Yeah, well, so it started. Cammy was Putin originally.
Yeah. And
then we were lying and we were clicking, and so then we built off that. And then Z was just getting his green card, so then he became Trump, converted Canadian to American, and then I was Trudeau.
Right.
So it's pretty funny. I think kept the boys light. A lot of times on the starting lineup, I can't remember who had it. Z might have had it for a bit, and so before the games, after warm-ups, coach will come in, give the lineup, and then one guy will call it out and kind of try to get the boys going.
Yeah.
And so when we were starting lineup, he'd be yelling out, Trump, Putin, Trudeau. It's pretty funny.
So wait, say that again. Now, the Dean will come in and hand the starting lineup to one of you guys, or let you obviously you don't know who's starting when you're out there for the 20 minutes that you're skating.
Right.
So Dean does that? Does that happen quite a bit? Other places you've been to?
Yeah, other places. Sometimes, in other places, like the assistant coach would come in and he'd kind of do it. He'd say the other team's starting lineup, and everyone would go boo, 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 and then say our starting lineup, and everyone goes woo, a couple claps, whatever. But for us here, Fordo brings in the lineup card after warm-ups around the 10-minute mark or so, and then we'll do a few snaps for if we have any new guys in the lineup. Yeah. And then whoever is appointed the sheet, they read out the starting lineup, and that guy will keep it as long as we keep winning. Yeah. And then if we lose in the next game, someone else will get it. So it's kind of a little tradition.
That's pretty cool.
Breaks the ice, like you get Cammy up there last year. English wasn't so good, so it was pretty funny when he had the starting lineup.
Well, he's grown, right?
Yeah, he's pretty good now. I mean, you can have a straight up English conversation with him, and he follows along pretty good.
Yeah, that's really cool. You guys have all. I saw a picture posted the other day. James Wisniewski, playing with the Chicago Wolves, and he made light of the fact that they put "new guy" on his nameplate. The Admirals have done that. Yeah. I see that. There's a place for the ball. The ball has its own nameplate. I mean, is it everybody that tries to keep it light, or is there somebody who's kind of the catalyst in this locker room to do something a little loose and a little goofy?
I mean, different days, different guys. I think that new guy and the ball, obviously, I think that's Chris coming through for us. Because, I mean, they're printed. I don't know unless someone might have told him to print them. But I think kudos to Chris. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Keep it light when you come in. There's a couple new guys and the ball stall.
When you keep it light, it's a grind of a season. We know that. The All-Star break always comes at the perfect time. It doesn't matter when it is. The All-Star break comes at the perfect time. But how do you, I mean, there's so much travel. You need, I was speaking about this with Adam Payerl, you need to have a base, right? So, I mean, to go home to Kitchener in the off-season and to have a base, because this is a transient life. You kind of need, have you found that to be true? And if so, is it something rather recent, or did you, I mean, when you're 20, 21 years old becoming a pro, did you think about that too?
Yeah, I mean, home is where family is. There's the familiarity of going home at the end of the season, and you know, just when you drive in, it's kind of a pretty cool feeling when you've been gone for 8 months. You drive in, you see all the signs, like just on the highway, it's pretty familiar. Yeah. Maybe you throw on "Coming Home" by P. Diddy, and gets you pretty pumped up going home.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you do a whole mix of coming home songs, right? Oh, yeah. So is that your music of choice then? Hip hop, or are you all over the place?
I'm all over the place.
Everybody has to be all over the place, right?
Yeah, but I don't really listen to that song very often, but I always listen to it when I'm going home.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? So
like at the end of the season.
I was going to say, this last year, so we had you on the radio show.
Yeah.
You and Devo were driving home.
Yeah, yeah.
And so you were listening to that. You dropped off Devo, right? Is that how it worked?
No, so he drove separate, but he had a little like BMW. But he wanted to bring all of his stuff home.
Yeah.
So originally I wasn't going to bring any of my furniture home. I would just leave it in a storage unit here or something.
Yeah.
But he's got a little sports car, and he's like, well, I want to bring like my bed frame and tables and this stuff all home. And since we kind of live close together, I have an SUV, so he's like, what do you think? If you got a U-Haul, like, we'll split it or whatever. And so he talked me into it, kind of. Okay. So then I towed this U-Haul home, and it took me a couple extra days because I have family near Cleveland.
Okay.
Stopped to visit them on the way, and then I just pulled up to his house as you were calling me on that radio show.
Yeah.
He was emptying out the U-Haul as we were talking.
So you got out of a little work. That's
exactly.
really good. But so you're listening to that song as you dropped your stuff off, and then you popped the song on maybe, and then that was that.
Yeah, for sure.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Let's talk a little bit about the guys in the locker room. We had a question earlier about somebody asked, and I thought it was a really good question. Who is your best friend on the team? I think that's a really. It seems like a basic question, but I think it's a telling question.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty good. I like to think that I'm pretty good buddies with everyone on the team. Yeah. Like, I go lunch with anyone.
Is it important to be?
Yeah, I think it's important to be able to connect with everybody, to keep everyone close knit group, especially when we have a lot of people that are English as second language.
Sure.
So they have their own languages, and other guys on the team that just speak that. But me, as only English speaking, like, I feel that I have to make them speak English.
Right.
Or it's good for them to get comfortable with me.
Right,
English.
Exactly.
Obviously, it's been 2 years, and everyone's comfortable with everyone in there, and we got a good group. But as far as like best friend would go, I mean, I bring Whitey. Me and Whitey, we come to the rink all the time. Like, we always drive together. But Leambus is my neighbor, and so I spend a lot of time with him. Like, his girlfriend Tamara's living with him, and I'll go hang out there. We'll have a movie night or play sequence or cribbage or something.
Sure. Jamie Devan was here the other night with his new team, Stockton.
Yeah.
You've had to have been in this situation somewhere along the way where you've gotten into a heated moment on the ice with a guy you were friendly with.
Yeah.
Is that awkward? Is that easy? How do you deal with that?
It's not really awkward, I would say, because, I mean, you might text here and there, depending how close you were, but text leading up to a game or after a game or something, or say hi to a guy after the game. In the game, it's kind of, there's no friends out there.
Can you shut down for 3 hours? And
yeah, I mean, you might say hi to a guy off a face-off, what's up, man? But, like, I'm still going to bury him in the corner if opportunity presents itself.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe a little bit that way, but I think for the most part, once you're on the ice, it's just.
Does it matter? Do you look forward to that, or do you have to hate the opponent?
certain times, certain situations, you don't necessarily get in a corner battle with every single person on that team.
Yeah.
Like there might be a D pairing that you match up with all the time.
Yeah.
And so you wanna have not hatred, but like an anger, to amp yourself up, because you're gonna be going to battle against those guys a lot. Like especially in playoffs, like that'll come later. But a lot of times there's line matching, and they match you up with the same D all the time. So you're like, I'm going to go in the corner with this guy 100 times the next week, so I'm going to try to set the tone early.
Are you aware of who you're playing? Oh, are you aware of these guys? Like, do you know a guy shoots right or left, or a guy had 7 goals this year, or a guy had 200 penalty minutes, or nobody does that anymore? But you know what I'm saying? I mean, are you up on stats and things like that? Yeah,
I mean, well, it's different. We play a lot of these teams like Chicago and Rockford. Play them so many times, pretty much know their whole roster, what kind of player every guy is, and stuff like that. But then, like last weekend, you play San Jose and Stockton. You only see them twice in a year. There's only a handful of names you recognize. So a lot of times before the games, if it's a team like that, guys will look at the stat pack and kind of be like, "Oh, this guy like."
So can you get into is routine a trap? When you play Chicago so many times that maybe you take for granted, I know who they are already, or something. Or we play Rockford so many times, I know what they do already. Does that make you, I don't know, take away some nerves, some anxiety? I mean, some people need to be on the edge to play, right?
Right.
Does that take away some of the edge when you know these guys so well? Grand Rapids, when you see them so frequently.
Yeah, I mean, when you play a new team, it's kind of a breath of fresh air, because it's kind of exciting to not know as many guys, and they might not know your tendencies, so you might be able to beat a guy wide, or you might win the right battle early in a game that they might underestimate you or something like that. But playing the same team over and over, I don't think it gets stale. Like I think. We do pre-scout every game, even though if we play Rockford or Chicago.
Sure.
A lot of guys might, get a little annoyed that we'll do video before every game. Not annoyed, but do video before every game. And it's like, okay, we know they're going to break out this way. We know they're going to forecheck this way. But there's always a subtle difference. Like maybe they do 2 things different. So as long as you note those, and then, as the season progresses, both teams are trying to change their game plans against each other.
Sure. We'll close it down with a couple of fun ones here that we've had from people in the past. One of the questions was your favorite ice cream flavor.
Oh, probably.
And maybe a better question is, are you allowed to have ice cream?
Yeah. Well, actually, we have ice cream a lot.
Actually, frequently. You do? Yeah. That's right.
Like all of our pregame meals.
Thing. Who decides? I mean,
I know.
But that's been everywhere, right?
Yeah, everywhere.
The team meal is the same all the time. It's a pasta, it's probably a rice, it's a soup, it's a salad.
Yeah, and then a veggie,
cream.
and then ice cream at dessert. I don't know.
Always.
I don't know how far back that happened, but it seems to be a staple in all hockey pregames.
Whatever locker room you're in.
Yeah. So, I mean, normally that's just vanilla ice cream that we get. Oreo would probably be my go-to.
Very good. Very good. I heard this question the other day, and I thought it was an interesting one. Would you rather lose your cell phone or $1,000?
Cell phone. I got Apple Care, so I take it back, cost me $80, get a new one.
You thought, that's not true. But there's not enough. The person I heard answer this say, well, if I lost my cell phone, I'd probably lose more than $1,000 for that. That.
I mean, they're pretty expensive nowadays. It's probably pretty close.
But the information, the contacts, all of that.
Yeah, I mean, my dad writes computer software, so he's pretty dialed with technology and Apple and stuff. So
you're the wrong guy to ask on this question.
I'm an Apple purebred, so I've been brought up. I back up my phone and stuff. Yeah. So if I lose it all.
When you say Apple purebred, do you have the 2E and all of that stuff? Do you have the Oregon Trail and all of that?
My dad's got all the gadgets, and so he's brought me up. I've never had really a Windows product in my life, so growing up we always had Microsoft Word and stuff in school. And then I'd come home and at Apple, you have notes and stuff.
Completely different, yeah.
So and then eventually, later in my elementary school days, they had that Windows and stuff. So my dad always made sure we always had the best tech, and we were never behind on that stuff for sure.
That's really cool. So, I mean, video games and stuff like that? Did you have, or was it more the internet and the whatever else, whatever processing, all of everything, writing papers, information?
Yeah, I would say mostly it's the computer, like Apple products. Yeah. But actually, my fourth birthday, or grade 4, my birthday, I would have been 10, I guess. My dad, I like to think that I was maybe the favorite, but my dad took me a day off school, and then we went out that day. We bought this little TV with a mount for my bedroom. We bought an Xbox, got it all, got a day off school, and then we brought it home, hooked it all up, and then we had to plug to get cable on the TV. Had to plug in from my room, go through the hallway, through into my parents' room, and then into the cable jack in their wall. Okay. And so the wire just made it, so if I left it on at night, it's like it'll clothesline someone going to the bathroom. So we didn't have too many issues with that, but it was a pretty good setup, and I think my sisters were both pretty jealous when I got that for my birthday.
Plus a day off.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
It was unbelievable for me at that age.
The other one that was asked, and we'll close with this one: if you could be one of your teammates, who would you be and why for a day? Whose life would you choose for one day?
That's
and
an interesting question.
That's why somebody wrote it down for me to ask.
Yeah, be interesting to be Fiala for a day to see what it feels like to be able to handle a puck like that. Yeah, he's pretty good with it. He can handle it like it's on a string. So it'd be interesting to have his skill for a day.
Yeah. Very good. Yeah. Adam, thanks for doing this.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, that's been a coffee break brought to you by Hills Brothers.
Hills Brothers Coffee is making the best tasting 100% Arabica coffee in the best way for the earth. Certified 100% compostable single-serve coffee pods. Brew and renew with Hills Brothers Coffee.